dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents to you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive.
Greetings and welcome to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. I'm doc.PEACE, Doctor of Pharmacy, Transformational Rhythmic Speaker, and Empowerment Guru. Golden Sessions is a time for us to connect and reset with doses of inspiration to empower confidence and foster global unity. Featuring golden STARlings from all over the world who are shining their light so bright to ignite our light and remind us all that together we thrive. Today we have a special guest with us here today, Faith K Lefever. Faith is an artist disciplined in many mediums. Based out of Alma, Colorado, she brings ideas and creative visions to life through her paintings, her digital artwork, her photography, and her incredible animations. Thank you so much for joining us today, Faith. How are you?
Thank you, Peace, for having me. No, I'm fantastic.
You're so very welcome. Oh, so good to hear. So tell us more, like what it is, what makes you so gold? I know you personally, and I know that you are so gold. You are a genuine, original, loving dreamer. Can you share with our audience today what do you feel like makes you gold?
Well, it's for myself personally, it's been, I don't know, it's always hard to talk about myself in that kind of way. I don't see myself necessarily like that, but it's, I love this question because it makes me look internally. And honestly, I think just my creative drive. I mean, my drive really is just create. And however I can help people have their vision be materialized in the 3D, if you will. You know, sometimes ideas and visions, they just start out in the ether, if you will. And I feel like I have the ability to kind of reel it in and make it a reality, which is just so fun for me to, it's magical. That's what I think.
Yes.
It's magical to bring anybody's ideas to life. Yeah, I enjoy creating. That's my thing.
Ooh, I love what you said about it being magical. You are creating magic by making the dreams of others come to life. Wow. So were you always like this? How did you discover these golden attributes of yours? How did you discover that you could make others' dreams come to life?
I would say that when I discovered it versus, you know, when you kind of have it, if you will, discovering it was probably in my mid 20s. And that was when I was full on photography. I was doing a lot of portrait work. And honestly, just being able to take someone's idea on how they want it to look, or even just a general idea on how they want it to look, whether it was just, I want to look beautiful, I want to look, you know, I want to look adventurous, I want to do this. They might have all kinds of ideas. And having that in product and seeing their faces and just seeing how much they enjoy the image of it, I think that's when I started to realize, like, oh, hey, I have this ability. You know, I think later on in my 30s is when I realized I have that ability in many other mediums, not just photography, which was kind of exciting for me. You know, I'm going to say magical again, because it's really just for me super magical to be able to take an image, put it on a canvas, take an idea, put it in, you know, some sort of illustration, or, you know, words, books. So yeah, it's been a progressive realization, if you will.
Wow, that's so incredible. So, what are some key aspects and habits that have really helped to further this craft of yours?
I would say my openness to curiosity. I am curious about a lot of things, but I then act on that curiosity. So, you know, I would say it started in high school. Well, even probably before that. In elementary school, I started with music. I was playing the piano, I was playing the flute. Then I started picking up other instruments just because I was curious to see if I could play them. Or I was interested in, like, can I play this? And I would challenge myself. And I ended up picking up just about every woodwind instrument and then percussion. And then I also, within that time frame in high school, I took stained glass art and then photography. And then I taught myself sewing, and then, you know, and then I taught myself painting. So allowing myself to dive into those interests and curiosities have been a consistent habit for me to just keep learning, learn. Don't, like, you're never too old enough to learn or try something.
Wow, that's so true. Oh my goodness. So you taught yourself all of these different skill sets because you were curious. You wanted to learn, so you made it happen.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. No, and it literally would be like, I would look at something and I'd be like, I want to learn how to do that. And then I would.
So how did you go about it? How would you go about, say, learning how to paint? How would you go about learning how to and do animation? How do you go about learning something new?
So depending on the medium itself would be, I don't know, it kind of depends. So as far as like animation and painting, it's
Mhm.
just buy the stuff, buy the oil paints. I bought like the cheapest oil paints and, you know, some cheap canvases. And I was just like, I'm going to do this. And I think one of my first paintings was a strawberry. And I surprised myself. I was like, oh, dang, that actually looks like a strawberry.
I remember seeing that strawberry. It was
Yeah,
incredible. That was your first painting.
yeah, exactly. And then my second painting was just about as big as this one right here. And it was just a replication of another painting that I just wanted to try. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try to replicate this painting and I'm going to do it. Now, as far as animation, I use my iPad the most, just because I can draw on it the easiest. And I just got an app, and it has, I don't know, it just has it all set up for you. So you'll have like your frames, or you can have layers. And I've worked with Photoshop so much that I feel like it just kind of translated really easily for me. And so I just did it. I just played around. I was like, I'm just going to try it. So for those, it's literally just get the tools and then try it. Now, as far as stained glass, I actually took a class, like a workshop, because it's a little bit more dangerous, and there's a lot more that goes into it other than just like paintbrush, paint, canvas. So yeah, in some cases, having a teacher or finding a mentor is important. Yeah, that's what I would say.
So get the tools,
Yeah,
and then do it. Get the tools and make magic happen.
exactly.
Got it. And if you need a mentor, don't be afraid to reach out and get a mentor to help you along that process. But
Exactly.
get the tools first.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you'd be surprised, like it's really easy to find a mentor or workshop class or anything like that. That's actually how I got into taxidermy. So I did taxidermy for a while here locally with Eric Bear is his name. And he taught me all the steps of taxidermy, because they were hiring, and I just went in. I was like, hey, I know how to paint and I know how to do this. And they were like, perfect. And they brought me on and they taught me how to do everything. And it was a wonderful experience.
Oh my goodness. How is taxidermy related to an art form? How do you connect the two? Painting, animations, taxidermy. Like
So with taxidermy, there is painting. Like you have to be able to paint, even like realistically, to, have the animal come to life. So part of the animal is sculpted, and or like, glass eyes, clay in the mouth or the nose to help shape it all. And as the skin is getting, I would say, treated, sometimes it'll lose some of its luster, and so you have to repaint that back on in order to make it look real.
Okay.
Yeah, and so my ability to paint came in handy there, and I got to learn a little bit of sculpting, and you kind of become like an animal hairdresser. I had to like blow dry the hair and like brush it out and like put treatment in it, and like make the antlers and everything nice and shiny and clean. And
Oh my goodness. Wow. So for those who don't know what taxidermy even is, why don't we just explain that real quick?
yeah. So taxidermy is, I would say, the art of preserving an animal, and preserving their skin in a lifelike way. So, I would say that maybe even in today's society, taxidermy might be kind of frowned upon, just because it can be, or I would say it's mostly used for trophy hunting. So a lot of hunters will go out and they will, they'll get their hunt, and a lot of them use all of the meat, and they just leave us the skin and like the neck and the head.
Oh my goodness.
And then we process all of that. So taxidermy isn't just animals. They're also amphibians, birds, which I got to do a little bit of fish, and then I've done like 2 birds before. And then too, there's actually a lot of rules that go into taxidermy. So like if somebody just comes up to you with an animal and they're like, please stuff this, we have to make sure that they had the right tags in order to bring us that animal. People can't just go out and hunt an animal and bring it to us. So there's legality to that, which I actually liked. It kind of makes it more legit. Like people aren't just coming you with random animals. Like
seriously, wow. So are these all skills that you're currently practicing? Taxidermy, all the artistic skills that we mentioned earlier, the painting, the animation, are these all skill sets that you currently practice now?
So I would say taxidermy, not so much, not anymore. And the biggest reason is because I don't really have any space. You need a lot of space for that. But it's definitely something that I wouldn't mind jumping back into. As far as painting and animation, those are the two main mediums that I am consistently either being commissioned for or doing on my own personal projects. I do occasionally some photography. I'll do some headshots and some portrait work, but it's very minimum compared to what it was before. And then I play music on my own, but not really for anybody else, just for my own enjoyment.
Oh. I mean, based on how amazingly you do all these other skill sets, the photography, the painting, I have a feeling that when you play any sort of instrument, it's incredible. You're so multi-talented. So I have to give a shout out to you for your photography skills. I keep seeing your photography show up on, or your paintings show up on Instagram. But your photography skills are on point. You're by far the best photographer that I've ever worked with.
Oh, you are too kind. Like,
it's very true, Faith. Yeah. So how have you being gold helped you get through this past year? So you mentioned that your golden attributes are your curiosity, your ability to learn skill sets quickly and implement. So how has being gold helped you get through this past year?
That's a really good question, because this past year has been, really rough for a lot of us, right? We've been cooped up and haven't been able to do very much. And, this past year for me, I feel like I've been very lucky because I have been able to collaborate and immerse myself in a lot of different projects. So, and I guess that kind of goes along with the curiosity and just the creative drive that I have. So a few projects that I've been a part of I'm a part of a couple different nonprofits, and one of them is called We Are One, and they basically help facilitate like educational programs and material to all over the world, programs all over the world. And so one of them is a kids show called A Play on Color. And A Play on Color is, it's kind of a fun little story, if you will. It started out just with like 4 people, and it grew to like 15 people. And we all just volunteer, we video from home, and then, we put it all together. And the kids show is kind of like the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of chakras, energy, and emotional intelligence, emotional learning. And so it's in the beginning stages. It's, we know that we have a lot of room to grow. There's absolutely no budget.
Oh my goodness. Wait, is this kids show? We have to go on a break, but when we come back, I want to dive into more of this kids show and see if it's only for kids or if it can be for adults as well. So you're listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back, so stay tuned.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used a friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay, sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of, jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend, and neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive. Together we thrive. Let's do it.
And we are back. You are listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM. I'm doc.PEACE, and we are here with our incredible guest, Faith Lefever. Let's get back into it, shall we? So, Faith, you were sharing with us more about the kids show that you are in part of the production of. So, can you share with us more on that, and if it's only for kids or if it can be for adults as well?
Well, I would say that a play on color might be more for kids just because we are trying to target a really young demographic. That isn't to say that parents might not find it fun to watch with their kids, which we definitely encourage. I watched Sesame Street with my daughter, you know. when she was younger, I'd watch all the cartoons with her. So yeah, I honestly, I would say it is kind of geared more towards the younger side, maybe like 4 to 7. 7 might be pushing it.
Okay.
And we try to keep things really simple, just really simple.
Okay. Awesome. So it's called A Play for Kids.
A play on color.
A play on color. A play on color. And it's like, it sounds like it's the Sesame Street of the chakras of
Right.
Sesame
Yeah,
Street.
yeah, exactly. And so what's fun about that is that we do have puppets. We do have animations, which is by me. And what's fun about the animations is that I try to do like that throwback nostalgic, old Sesame Street Nickelodeon look. And I also try to keep it in a style that when the kids look at it, they might go, oh, I can do that. I try to keep it very simple, not a lot going on, if you will. One of the characters, his name is Green Monster, which I love Green Monster. He eats everything. That's his thing. He eats all the things.
I've seen this Green Monster.
Yes, I've posted him on Instagram a few times.
Oh, that's so awesome. So I love the puppeteering aspect of it. I don't know if you know, but I used to be a puppeteer back in the day.
Oh, that's so cool.
So the puppets are near and dear to my heart, and the kids love them. That's so incredible what you do. So you said that you took on this project during the past year. Are there any projects that you've started or that you've really used your golden attributes to kind of bring out and get you through this past year?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one of them. It's it's been a very big project, especially with about 15 other people that are contributing to it. And at the very beginning, I was also doing all the editing work for it, which now my time doesn't quite allow that. So we have some other people jumping in to do all of that work. I don't know. I have a bunch of other projects too that I've been a part of. So out here where I'm located in Colorado, we have this nonprofit group called Park County Creative Alliance. And basically it's where we help to network with other artists in the local county, which our county is like the size of Delaware. Like it's huge. And I think there's only like maybe less than 2,000 people that live in this area. So we try to connect artists with businesses, get the community involved in the arts, and there's a lot of historical implementation that we add to that as well, just because there's so much history. So I actually live in South Park, like that's where I live, and so there's a lot of history in South Park. So we implement that in the artist programs that we offer in the summertime, which takes up a lot of time, but it's so much fun.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible. So why do you do all this? What fuels you? What most fuels you and encourages you to continue to share your skills, to shine your gold light? Why? What's your big why?
Um, my biggest why would be that it, and maybe this is selfish, but it feeds my soul. I mean, it painting feeds my soul. Creating little animations feeds my soul. You know, I can spend hours just in my work, and you know, in music they call it, I think they call it the flow, and it's where when you're playing you just disappear in the music, and that would happen with me as well. And I've also found that with my artwork, or just any, even like commission work that I do, even collaborative projects that I do, I just disappear in it or become one with it, and it's incredibly pleasing. um yeah, it just,
Wow.
I just like the way it feels. It feels great.
That flow state, that's the flow state. It's like a natural
Yeah.
high. Can you
Yes.
remember the first time that you entered that flow state?
Oh, geez. Yeah, actually, it would probably be when I was probably about 10 or 11, and I was playing the piano, and it would just be, I would just be playing a piece, and I would just be swept away into it.
Wow.
Um, yeah, that would probably be the very first time. So
Mm. And do you recall what you felt in that moment when you were swept away?
bliss, I would say bliss, um, accomplished, elated.
Wow. Did you have to think? Did you have to think when you were in that flow state? Did you feel like your brain was actively going, or was it more of like a thoughtless process, like a release of all
Yeah,
thought?
actually, I would say that it definitely is that thoughtless process. It's
Mm.
the letting go of the conscious brain that's just like, do this, think about this, you know, are you doing this right? It just all comes together and it's just happening.
Mm. Wow. So how for those who are listening who never been in that flow state, and I have to say that those people exist. There are people who've never found their flow state. They've never found something that allows their brain to cease thinking and just like allow their soul to take over. And I didn't really realize it was true that others didn't feel this way, because I feel like you. When I'm hula hoop dancing, for example, I let my soul take control.
Mhm.
So, but for those who've never felt this way, who've never been in that flow state, that've never found something that allowed them, their soul to take over, how do you, what recommendations would you have to share on how to find something that allows them to be in that flow state?
What a great question, because, you know, I like how you brought up that it happens with you with hula hooping, because I think that, you know, that's something to consider, is that any sort of physical movement with your body, you can get into that flow state, whether it's jogging, riding your bike, you know, skating, rollerblading. You know, it doesn't have to be just a creative endeavor of playing music or painting. Um, so it would, my recommendation would be really just what already feeds your soul. What is something that you look forward to doing every day? Um, or I bet you could find a flow state in baking. Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
right. Um, but yeah, just allowing yourself to kind of it's like a taking a leap of faith in turning off the brain, if you will, and allowing the spirit to just do.
Mm, wow. So you can find your flow state by simply being physically active in some way or another.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Okay, so get up and move.
Definitely. Get up and move. Even if
Yeah,
that's just drawing, move your hand,
yeah, yeah,
move those legs, go
yeah.
swimming.
Get it going.
Hmm.
Wow, that's beautiful. So, Faith, we know that you are incredibly gold. Can you recall a time ever that you weren't feeling so gold? And how did you get back on track?
Yeah, no, you know what? I would say there's probably been multiple times in my life not feeling gold. Um, it's so I would say, just to get a little personal, I guess, is that, I suffer from depression, as many people do. I don't think that I'm special because I do. But I think that because I suffer from depression, I've had to find ways to pick myself up out of that. And so, let's say I'm in a depressive state, right? And I've learned through observation and just having compassion with myself that that state can be, I wouldn't say remove, you can't like necessarily remove yourself from it, but you can take steps out of it. And
Yeah.
so how I've helped myself is I do a lot of conscious exercising, if you will. And the conscious exercising is fighting any sort of invasive thoughts. And it's also sort of forcing myself to do the things that I know I love doing. So just because I'm in that state of, feeling down, feeling tired, not wanting to eat, any of those sort of symptoms that I can recognize now, I have the ability to go, okay, we're going to go eat some food. Okay, we're going to go mix some paint. Okay, we're going to make some frames of animation. And then if the thoughts come in, the thoughts for me personally are, you're worthless, nobody likes you, you suck, all of those sort of negative phrases. I've gotten a lot better now at going like, no, that's not true. That's not true. And I have like a little list of things that I can point myself to that prove that voice wrong. Um, and it really took me, I would say, 5, 6 years of consistent conscious exercising. That's what I would call it. Because you can't just do it once and it be all like healed. Oh, we're good. No, it comes back. But now it's so much easier that when I feel it, I just go, I know exactly what to do. I'm out of it. It's, I don't know. I feel so much better. I mean, if
Wow.
me today versus me 6 years ago, completely different people.
Wow. Faith, this is incredible. So when you find yourself in this negative thought tunnel, it's going deeper and deeper into a depressive state, you it sounds like you find the positive thought, you speak back to that limiting belief, and you pull yourself out of it. And you also mentioned something really incredible. I love what you said about it being a conscious exercise, a
Mhm.
continuous conscious exercise. So it also sounds like it's a combination of con- continuously consciously exercising as well as getting it going, as well as being physically active and getting into it, moving that body and getting back into that flow state.
No, for sure, for sure. And the conscious part, I think, can be the hardest just
Okay.
because, I think that like people need to realize your thoughts are super powerful. And if you allow any thought in your head that comes in to just take over, I mean, you're done for. One of the I don't know phrases that I like to say to myself is that heed your own thoughts, heed your own thoughts, because not all thoughts are yours. You need to think about, is that thought mine? Is that thought really how I feel about myself? Is that thought really feeding me? And most of the time in those depressive states, no, they are
No,
not.
no.
They-
So get out of here. So get out of here.
exactly. I mean, you literally have to, it's almost like there's two of you in your head. You got the negative one, and you've got the sane, conscious, positive one that's like, get out of
Yeah.
here. That's not what I want to think today.
It's
And
not mine.
and like I said at the beginning, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard work, and you have to keep doing it. But then if you are consistent with it, it's so much easier. That the positive thoughts are going to be the thoughts that continuously come in and stay. So
Yes. So good. So good. Faith, you are incredible. I love it. Pure gold. Thank you so much for igniting us with your light. How can we get in touch with you more and learn more about you and connect with you further?
well, I say that I probably do most of my posting of my artwork on Instagram, and the handle is just at Faith K Lefever. Um, and then I have my website, www.faithklefever.com. And,
Can you spell that?
yeah. SAITHKLEFEVER.
Wonderful.
And then, there's contact forms. You can instant message me on Instagram or email me. That's the best way. Phone up here is not.
That's fine.
Not
No,
very
that's so good that we
consistent.
can connect with you on social media and check out your website and your beautiful work. Wow. Before we close today, I want to put a plug in for Faith's animation work. So the song that begins this radio show is actually it's called Solo But Not Alone, and it's to remind us that we might be solo, but we are not alone, and together we thrive. And Faith actually did the animation art for the music video that premieres tonight, which is Tuesday, the 27th, premieres tonight, and you can actually view the music video on YouTube as well as listen to all these episodes and catch this show again with Faith. So I wanted to just put that plug in, and I want to congratulate you, Faith, for all the work that you've done. You're shining your light so bright, and I'm so grateful that you were able to share this space with us today.
Aw, thank you, Peace.
You're so very welcome. So you are listening to Golden Sessions with doc.PEACE on KNSJ 89.1 FM radio. That concludes today's session with Faith K Lefever. Thank you for joining us today. And remember that you are gold. We all are. And together we thrive. I'm doc.PEACE. Shine on.
Let's do it. Are you my friend? I'll admit, I'm confused. I used to friend request and now I follow. Am I in this alone? I once thought that birds flew solo, each bird on its own, just feathers and bone, relying alone on their wings to soar. Now I see that even though they move independently, they are part of something much greater than what they could be individually. And like a bird, I may sing to my own music and dance to my own drum, but connections ground me, reminding me that I am not alone. My purpose is greater than me, myself, or I. I once believed that whether or not I chose to use my gifts was my prerogative. But does bearing my talents do you or I any good? Pardon my mind delay. Sometimes I may need to remind my mind what it's capable of. Jog myself from doubt to a confident state. See, I am not alone, my friend. And neither are you. I see you. We are in this flock together for the better, and together we thrive.